Hi everyone, Samantha Elizabeth with Samantha Elizabeth Coaching and Consulting. I'm a health coach, and one of the things that I always ask my clients is how's their financial wellness? Financial wellness is a large part of everybody's wellness. When you are not financially well, it's very stressful. I know. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys is my own budgeting spreadsheet that I use to be able to help people to figure out what finances they have available and what bills they have, and kind of balancing all of that out so they can have less stress for their finances. So let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, from the link, you're going to hit make a copy. And this is going to download this into your Google. There, you can save it, I'm sure, from other ways. But once you open it up, you're going to see two tabs. One is the main tab, and the other one is the things to buy tab, which we'll get to that in just a second. Your main tab is going to be where you are managing all your money and your bills and your other expenses and other sources of things that are of value to you. And then, of course, the things to buy and everything are things that you're going to want to buy so you can plan for the money, where your money is going, on certain things, especially big expenses that are coming up. So first thing you want to do is you're going to want to, we're in January of 2025 right now, but you can start with whatever month you're in. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put in how much money is in your checking account right now. I know that says check account. I'll fix that. Anyway, you're going to go in there and do that. And then you're going to start filling out all of the what's, on here. It's all of your monthly expenses. So this first line and everything is kind of dead, if you will. But your following ones are going to be where your mortgage or rent. So choose which one, mortgage, rent. What company does that go to? How do you pay for that? Is it an auto pay? Is it a manual pay? Or do you write a check, hopefully, and send it? All of those kind of questions. And then what is the timing of it? Mortgage and rent is usually due on the first of the month, maybe HOA fees, but your car loan might not be due. For me, mine's on the 20th of every month. And same thing with credit cards too. They don't always close, at the same time. So you're going to fill out all of this information to be able to kind of keep track of it. And if you can't, if you're kind of jogging your brain, on, things like maybe you don't have a separate, bill from your internet and phone, you have something else, obviously internet or your mobile phone. Maybe your water is rolled up into your rent, in some cases, or gas, you don't have gas. Hopefully you have electricity. And then car insurance or anything like that. And that savings, at the very bottom is going to be something. So you're going to start filling out all of the information. I just put some dummy information in here to kind of get you started. But if I start with $5,000 and knowing that my mortgage and rent right now, we're we're on the 20th of January right now when I'm recording this, but hopefully your mortgage or rent is already due, at that point, or that you've already completed all of that too. Couple things is credit card. Put a little tip in here too. One of the things I like to do is for safety reasons as well too, I don't like to pay for groceries, gas, all of my normal expenses. I put that on a credit card. I don't take it right out of my checking, just in case that card gets stolen or something like that, then they have access to all my money. So I put those usually on a credit card, and I kind of keep track of it and everything. So when you see this coloring, green usually means that this is money that you have. Yellow is something to be paid. And I always put in like the orange category to be, I don't know how much that's going to be yet. So my credit card, I might not know how much that's going to be once it's due, and I can't keep track of it. So let's just say you don't have any money on it or something like that. You delete that, things calculate and everything, or recalculate, down here. But let's just say I usually spend about $1,000 a month, on credit card. That's gas, groceries, all of those kind of little expenses, going out to eat, things like that. Those are the kind of things that I keep track of. But once you do know exactly how much it is, then you can mark it yellow, or you can keep it orange if you still don't know if it's up in the air. I don't know how much my water is every month or my phone or anything like that. So once those bills actually come down, then I can look at that. Car insurance is not, and this is something like my Amazon Prime, for instance, I have Amazon Prime, but I also have Amazon Music. And then I also have Blink, which is their security system too. Those are due at certain times during the month. It's my Amazon line. And so I'll mark like Prime is due in January. In April is when my music subscription comes up. And then my Blink is not until October or something like that. So I'll mark those in here. But other than that, it's zero of what it should be. At the end of every single month, and so this does fluctuate depending on how much I spend on these other things of how much this is, but I'll always put at the end of the month, whatever surplus that I have, I'll put that as savings to me. It's a payment to me to put that into my savings. This little pink line right here is the total amount of all of the bills for the month. So it's a calculation based on that. Paycheck. I just put some dummy information in here, but how much are your paychecks? So this is kind of, calculated. So it shows that my first paycheck is usually this amount and my second one. Once I know, once again, the actuals, like, so maybe my paychecks do fluctuate a little bit and I'll kind of put in, something in there. You might have sometimes a third paycheck, or as a consultant for me, I might have a couple of clients that pay me on a regular basis, but then I've got my third paycheck of like whatever hours that I put in. Mid cost. So this is the first half. So I usually break mine up between the first half and second half just because it's the paychecks that come in. But the mid cost is how much is this total for the 1st through the 15th, or whatever you get your paycheck and everything of how you can divide it up. And then there's a calculation too. So this is the starting here of how much my paycheck plus my paycheck, but then minus all of the expenses that I have on here. So I do my mid cost and then I do my end cost for my month as well too. So up this top part right here, as you can see, there is, I have the whole year kind of planned out. And then that way I can look at the end of what is the total that I spent on my mortgage or rent for the year? What's the average, per month? And that kind of helps me to plan for my next year, like once I start putting that in there. So you can see this is on a rolling basis. Once I'm done with January, I kind of just move things over and hide January, or I normally keep a visibility of 3 months, the month before, the current month, and then the next month. But then I also keep the rest of the year out too. Another thing, as you can see down here, is that I've got another separate chart, and these are all the other things that I have. I have 2 savings. One is for me and one is for my kiddo. So I'll put those savings totals in here. Once again, this is just dummy information. How much money do I have on my auto loan or my car note, whatever you want to call it, if you want to be fancy like that. And then also my mortgage, too, how much I owe on that. My student loan, goodness, I wish I only owed actually this month on my mortgage, my student loan, but it's actually more. How many, and then I also track like other things that are monetary value, that I could potentially use or leverage, if things get tough, so I've got my credit card rewards, in here too, just to know like, hey, I've got some rewards out there. So if I do need to put those rewards, towards, my bill or something like that to kind of lower it. Credit scores, I keep track of my credit like crazy. I use Credit Karma, and, for me, these are not my credit scores, but I'm just kind of putting some dummy credit scores in here. But if you use Credit Karma, it gives you 2 of them, not Equifax, but TransUnion and the other one, Experian. Or maybe it's not Experian, but anyway, it gives you 2 of them, so you can kind of keep track of those 2. I like to kind of keep an eye on those all the time just to make sure that there's nothing wild going on with my credit. And then if you have like a 401k, Roth IRA, or something like that in here, and then where it says money, this is the total. So you can see that this is a calculation of all the green that I have, including the green up top, how much I have in my checking right now. And this is kind of a rolling amount. All of this is kind of calculated, and you're going to see, like, once you get in here and everything and playing around with it, where's the calculations actually come from, all of that kind of stuff. So you're going to see that. One of the things, just to kind of make a quick note too, is that as things are paid, I'll kind of do a couple of coding, of things. I'm a very colorful, I suppose, person, but one of the things that I like to do is if something's pending payment, and I know it's kind of out of my checking already, but it hasn't officially gone through, I'll put it like in a light yellow. And then once it's paid, it's done. Like, I don't have to worry about it anymore. This is for Google, but if you're using Excel or something like that, it's just going to be the no fill, at that point. But I know, like, that's done. Like, that, to me, that doesn't need any more thought on it, because it's already paid. So those are kind of the different colorings I have in here. So back down here, money. This is something that I use to look at my money, and be able to look at that. And then I also look at my debt too. So I calculate all my debt, which is all the yellow that I have on here, and not the yellow up top, because that's all calculated and everything based on this. But when I look at that, and then I know how much money am I in debt to. And I do other things like track my, equity, in things too. So if I were to sell my car, how much is it really worth above my auto loan? Hopefully I'm not upside down on it. Same thing with my mortgage, as well. Obviously, student loan, there's no equity, involved in that. So that's something that I definitely look at, is to make sure. And then I know how much in the hole. Like, so if I were to liquidate everything right now, and just kind of cash out on life and everything, and maybe go and escape to a deserted island somewhere or something like that, that's something that I would know is like how much money in debt I was be. And this is just, once again, dummy information, but this is kind of helpful for you to know, that kind of information. And so that's really the basics of everything. Like a couple things. Black line is just kind of an indication of everything coloring, on like what it is, all of the totals and things like that. You might have to recalculate things. So going back up to here, if I were to mark this that it's pending payment, so it's already come out of my checking. So let's just say, hey, mortgage is pending payment. Right now it's not officially out. I haven't done that. And so you can see things going to the negative at that point, which is not good. You don't want that. But let's just say this is done here. And so I've kind of reset that color. And then also my car loan is done. What you need to do is you need to go recalculate. And this is kind of the manual part, but my goodness, it is so wonderful to have that. So let's just say you've paid your mortgage and rent. It hasn't officially come out yet, but that's coming. You've paid your HOA fees, and then you paid your car loan as well. You're going to recalculate it that you just owe your credit card right now. And maybe you don't know that official amount, or maybe you owe, this so much with change. Obviously, it's always not perfect and everything, but that's, something that you can kind of mark. But this, you started with 5,000. So don't forget to minus that, and then minus the other thing that was taken out too. That gets recalculated. This is the total. And then, I've got mid in here and all of that kind of stuff. As you can see, it all kind of like recalculates itself based on all of the calculations that I've done. So there's a little bit of manual work here, but it is so much worth it. And I say, when I'm like really stressed, and I'm just going to kind of back this up a little bit, but when I'm really stressed about my money, I might go in here and look at my checkbook, and oh my goodness, this is old school for me. It used to be called a checkbook. And if you don't know what a checkbook is, it's basically like a registry of your account that you kind of keep track of, like what's going in and out of your account. And it used to be like a paper manual thing. If you don't know what this is, I call it my checkbook, and so it's technically not a checkbook because there's a lot more on it, than what would have been a checkbook. But this kind of helps me keep track of everything. And I'm kind of meticulous, when it comes to this too. You don't have to be so meticulous, but it is super, super, super helpful to kind of get things under wraps here. So I've explained all the, nuances, about the spreadsheet that may or may not be helpful for you. feel free to customize it, change the coloring, all of that kind of stuff to make it your own. Maybe just start with like, it's always like, why break something, that's not broken or something like that. Maybe start, with exactly, how it's supposed to be. Make sure that you've got your calculations right and all of this kind of stuff. And now just to kind of flip over to the things to buy tab. So this is something, that's a terrible coloring there. You can always customize the coloring and everything, but this is kind of helpful for me. So this is a calculation of my two savings together. And so I might say that I have $6,000 in savings. And then I'm going to put in here the things that I want to buy. So I might need to, it might not be in want, but I might need a new water heater. And where am I going to buy it from? I may not know, in which case I might mark that and say like, hey, you got to come back and fill that out. How much does it cost? I don't know, $2,000, you can kind of do a calculation based on that. I gotta fix that. But anyway, and it might be upcoming or purchased, in which case then that it's already done that and you can filter that out and everything and put in any notes in here. So you might put in a note that you need to research how much does it cost for a new water heater. I recently had to do my water heater and my AC and heating system. And so those are huge costs for myself, but if I kept track of my savings, that was super helpful for me. Sometimes I create also additional tabs in here just to kind of keep track of things. I used to, before I got QuickBooks, manage all of my business expenses on a spreadsheet. And I know that some people that do manage businesses are probably going to say, oh my gosh, but that's something I used to do. Or if I'm keeping track of, maybe I owe money to somebody, that we agreed to split everything 50-50. I think about like a previous relationship, we agreed to split everything 50-50. So I would pay for things and sometimes they would pay for things. And in the end, somebody owed somebody money when we would go out to dinner and, things like that. And so those are the kind of things that, I would make a separate spreadsheet on and everything just to kind of keep track of other things. Or if I'm making notes, if I'm planning on doing something that's going to cost a lot of money and there's like a breakdown of costs and things, you can kind of do that. So this is my spreadsheet. I hope that it was super helpful for you to walk through this and be able to do that. I want to say good luck. Please reach out to me, SamanthaElizabeth.com. That's my website. If you have any questions on this, if you need help kind of walking through it, if you kind of want to check yourself before you wreck yourself, all of those kind of things, I do recommend that you do that. To reach out to me and let's talk about how I can help you with your financial wellness. I'm pretty, good at this kind of stuff. I might be tossing around pennies and things like that, but it's certainly helpful for me to keep track of everything and like in a very meticulous way as well too. So I hope this was helpful for you. Good luck. Like I said, reach out to me if you need anything, SamanthaElizabeth.com, and good stuff.